Morning, and welcome to our February Shotsuki Hoyo Memorial Service. Want to let you know that this service is being recorded, but only the speakers will be showing up on the record. Also, if everyone could please mute through the service, that would be appreciated. We'll begin this morning's service with the reading of the Shotsuki Hoyo names, and I'm grateful all of you are here to remember, honor, and celebrate the names we are about to hear. I invite you to offer incense if you have a home butsudan when you hear your loved one's name read, or put your hands in gassho and say Namo Amida Butsu when you hear your loved one's name read aloud. This morning, we will have Mrs. Joshi Yao read the February Shotsuki Hoyo names. Thank you, Mrs. Yao. For our group reading, we will be reciting the three treasures, which is found on page 8 if you have your service book with you. Otherwise, it'll be displayed on the screen. Hard is it to be born into human life. Now we are living it. Difficult is it to hear the teachings of the Blessed One. Now we hear it. If we do not realize the truth in this life, when will it be realized? Let us reverently take refuge in the three treasures of the truth. I take refuge in the Buddha. May we absorb ourselves in the principle of the way to enlightenment and awaken in ourselves the supreme will. I take refuge in the Dharma. May we be submerged in the depths of the doctrine and gain wisdom as deep as the ocean. I take refuge in the Sangha. May we live in harmony in the great assembly as disciples of Buddha and be freed from all hindrances, becoming units of true accord in the life of harmony, in a spirit of universal oneness, freed from the bondage of selfishness. Even through myriad ages of kalpas, hard is it to hear such an excellent, profound, and wonderful doctrine. Now we are able to hear and receive it. Let us thoroughly understand the true meaning of the Tathagata's teaching. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namandots. 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 And now we will have Sutra chanting. This morning, we are joined by Reverend Keisuke Lee-Miyaki, and he will be chanting Sambujo and Junirai, both of which will be displayed on the screen, so please join in. Thank you.
Namo Amida Butsu. 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 にの上三無常実法如来にの上三On this occasion, the February Shotsuki service, the member of the Buddhist Church of San Francisco and all Buddhists in the world have reverently come before Amida Buddha in memory of their loved ones. With deepest reverence and gratitude for the all-inclusive wisdom and compassion that is Amida Buddha, we reaffirm the three treasures. Namo Kie Butsu. I take refuge in the Buddha, the timeless life of wisdom and compassion, which is the source of awakening. Namo Kie Ho. I take refuge in the Dharma, the universal truth of the impermanence and interdependence, the illuminating light that is the Buddha's wisdom. Namo Kie So. I take refuge in the Sangha, the community of people dedicated to living harmoniously in the universal truth that is life meaning, manifesting Buddha's compassion. Namo Amida Butsu, 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 Namo Amida. Junirai. Keishu tenin shokugyo Amida sen ryozoku son Zai mi men anrakon Muryo bushi shui ne 金色心情如線のシャマタ行如造部両目上脈小蓮へ古賀将来みなそ面前上女漫画いこゆ女千日が少女天空くしら 子が将来皆さん、観音町内観中寺、修十名相法将軍、のぶくげの負け馬、子が将来皆さん、無備無垢故障上、習得経験予告、小さ利益特自在、子が将来皆さん、実法名門菩薩衆、無料小魔女三段、一生主上願力寺、子が将来皆さん、本体保険知所系、前言少女命来座、おひざ上女線の子が将来皆さん、実法将来諸無視、権限人図し安楽、戦後尊厳上苦行、子が将来皆さん、小無常無我と、薬尿水月年よろ、一種説法無名字、子が将来皆さん、非尊無説無悪名、薬無尿に悪の不、主任死心教非尊、子が将来皆さん、非尊無料法勉強、無所修悪知識、往生不退しもない、子が将来皆さん、がせ非尊苦の苦事、修善無変了解水、小逆前音、少女者、衛生主上、小非公。ナマンナブナマンナブナマンナブナマンナブナマンナブナマンナ 国平等性差の本もないしお上あなこナモアミダ仏、ナモアミダ仏、ナモアミダ仏、ナマンダ仏、ナマンダ仏、ナマンダ仏、ナマン、ナマン。Thank you.
Thank you, Reverend Lee-Miyaki. Now we will have a Dharma message, a Dharma talk by our supervising minister. Reverend Henry Adams is resident minister at San Mateo Buddhist Temple. And he has, since September 1st, he has been BCSF supervising minister. And so with that, I'd like to turn it over to Reverend Adams.
Namandavats, 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 namandavats. Namandavats. I invite you to join me in Gassho as we hear the words taken down by Shinran Shonin and shared for us in the Kyogyo Shinsho. When Shakyamuni was about to enter Nirvana, he said to the bhikshus, "From this day on, rely on the Dharma, not on people who teach it. Rely on meaning, not on the words. Rely on wisdom, not on the working of the mind. Rely on the sutras that fully express the meaning, not on those that do not." Namandavats, 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 namandavats. Hello, and thank you for joining us for the Buddhist Church of San Francisco Nirvana Day service. As you can see, I'm joining the service from a slightly different venue than usual. Normally, I'm at the San Mateo Buddhist Temple in the Hondo. However, actually, the middle of last night, I had a bit of a sore throat, and so I'm kind of self-quarantining myself just for a couple days, as we're all trying to practice good, safe practices in this time of COVID-19. So I'm here at home, and I'm joining you from my home, Obutsudan, which I think in many ways is a fitting location for today's service, as we're also observing our monthly Shotsuki Hoyo for the month of February. A couple of months ago, I shared a story of my grandmother, and here is her picture is here in the Obutsudan, and so keep that here. So for me, this is my place of daily remembrance, where I come each morning as well as in the evening to join my hands in Gassho and to recite the sutras and to take comfort in the wisdom and compassion of the Buddha during my day-to-day life in these times. So our Nirvana Day service is a time when we remember the life of Shakyamuni Buddha, and particularly we reflect upon his passing from this world. I find that the story of his passing and that the relationships that he had and the way that he guided those who he was close to at that time as they prepared for his departure from the world also provides us with much wisdom and guidance for our own lives, and as we remember loved ones on this occasion of also our Shotsuki Hoyo. So Shakyamuni Buddha, when he was nearing the end of his life, was living in the community with his fellow monks and nuns, also close to several lay people, leaders from people of humble station in life to the great kings of his area. One of his closest companions was his cousin Ananda, who was with him throughout his days, always carefully listening to the Dharma that he taught. Towards the end of his life, on one occasion, there was a great and powerful earthquake. And in those days, as in today, when a great natural disaster occurs, we are called to reflect upon our own lives and to look inward and to try to understand what meaning might be provided for our lives through the perspective of things being suddenly changed or a sort of interruption into our daily lives. Just as these days we're living with this interruption of COVID-19 and continuing on the challenges of the pandemic, and it's causing us to look inward. So in those days, the disciples of the Buddha then, of course, went to him for guidance to understand what was the meaning of this. And Shakyamuni at that time, he told them, well, at this time, I am preparing to leave this world. And as my bonds of karma break with this world, this earth is shaking as a result of that. And so in that moment, the Buddha's disciples realized that he was preparing to depart from this world, to enter into the peace and tranquility of parinirvana. And so at that time, Ananda, being the careful and thoughtful attendant that he was, he asked the Buddha, well, how shall we prepare once you're gone? What sort of services shall we have? What sort of funeral should we hold to remember and to honor you, our great teacher? And at the time, Shakyamuni said, you know, you monks should really continue to focus on your practices, and we can leave the observance of the funeral rites to the householders. But Ananda, being wise and compassionate and having concern for particularly the community of lay followers, he knew that clear guidance would be of great help to the community. And so he pressed the Buddha, and the Buddha then provided clear instructions for how he should be cremated, what sort of ceremony should be held, how the cremated remains should be honored following the service. And so Ananda carefully then sets about all of these preparations. It's about preparing for the services, preparing for the Buddha's departure. While the Buddha is still in this world, Ananda's sort of busying himself, preparing with the preparations. And in the midst of that, those preparations, that physical act of preparing, it dawns on him that the Buddha will indeed leave this world. And he pauses and looks within and says, am I ready? Am I ready to say farewell to my teacher? I think we often feel that way when we realize that a loved one is going to be passing from this world. Am I ready for this transformation? Am I ready to live without this person here in my life? And so Ananda then becomes deeply distraught, and he secludes himself. He goes into a private place, and he weeps, and he mourns, and he grieves, this anticipatory grief for the departure of his true teacher. And the Buddha notices that he hasn't seen Ananda around. He starts to ask, where is Ananda? I haven't seen him. Say, oh, well, he's so distraught that he has secluded himself now, and he's grieving privately. He's weeping, crying. So the Buddha says, bring him here. Bring him to me. And so the other disciples, they go, they summon Ananda to the place where the Buddha is. Ananda, clearly, visibly upset as he comes before the Buddha. The Buddha asks him, what troubles you? Ananda says, my true teacher is about to leave from this world. He who has shown such kindness and compassion to me. And I have not yet realized awakening. I have not yet become enlightened. How will I be able to do this once the Buddha is gone? The Buddha comforts him and reassures him, saying, you have earned much merit. You have served me with kindness and compassion. You and I have a close bond. But I have taught you clearly, time and again, that Everyone who is born into this world will one day pass from this world. This is a clear truth of our lives. And so, once I'm gone, I've left you something that will be your guide, the Dharma. Take the Dharma as your guide. Make the Dharma this lantern in your heart. Be a lantern unto yourself through your own understanding and experience of these true teachings that I've taught. And so Ananda, receiving this teaching, and comes to a feeling of deep peace of mind. And he continues then to make the preparations, but now thinking about wishing to create a karmic connection as many people as possible with the Buddha while he's still in this world. So Ananda goes to all of the families that were close to the Buddha, and he says, many, many people will come to see the Buddha. So I ask, send one representative to come, listen carefully, pay homage to the Buddha, who will then return to share the Dharma with others. And so after the Buddha passes into parinirvana, Ananda heeds his teachings, and he continues to practice guided by the Dharma, and does indeed realize enlightenment, even once the Buddha has passed on. So if you see the traditional pictorial depictions of the life of the Buddha, and the end of the Buddha's life, he's lying flat, facing towards the west, and surrounding him are various disciples, monks, lay people, various animals, elephants, tigers, and other creatures. And in the midst of all of this, we see that some are very calm, some are deeply distraught. If I think about myself, how would I be? I would probably be among the distraught. I identify with Ananda because I realize that I'm not enlightened yet, but I can also take comfort in Ananda's example and receiving this Buddha's teaching, receiving this message that the Buddha left his teachings to be our guide after he's gone from this world. So as we remember his passing over to the other shore in parinirvana, as we reflect upon these loved ones that we remember in the month of February, we think about, what is the Buddha's message for me? What is their message for me in my life? For me, I find that the Buddha's message for me is Namo Amida Butsu. This is also the message I receive from all those who I remember month after month who have crossed over to the other shore, because Namo Amida Butsu is the voice of the Buddha calling from the world of enlightenment, calling to me in this moment, in the midst of my delusions, my frustrations, my clinging and longing. In the midst of all that, I'm being called to clarity by these words, Namo Amida Butsu. This is the Dharma that the Buddha left for us, to reflect with gratitude upon those who have gone before, to receive their example and their guidance, for they, having gone forth to realize birth in the world of enlightenment, now they return to guide us. And so, as we reflect upon the life of Shakyamuni Buddha, what is it that he came into this world to do? In this lifetime for him that was 80 years, for us which may be longer and shorter, what is it that we are here to do? He shows us through his example, his kindness for others. He, realizing perfect awakening, and provides the kind teachings that he passes down to us. For me, the teaching that resonates most deeply in my heart is the teaching of Amida Buddha, the Buddha of boundless compassion, the teaching of the Nembutsu, this voice of the Buddha that we can hear moment to moment in our lives in these words, Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu is the resonating voice of the loved ones that we remember today. It's the resonating voice of Shakyamuni Buddha, guiding us to look to the Dharma in our times of difficulty, to take comfort in the Buddha's wisdom and compassion, to allow the Dharma to be the light in our hearts, to be a light unto ourselves, expressing this true wisdom as a reflection of the Buddha Dharma in our words, our thoughts, and our actions. So once again, it is an honor to be with you here today in this somewhat unusual virtual format, but together in our remembrance, the Buddha, together in our remembrance of our loved ones, together in Namu Amida Butsu. Please join me in Kansho. Namu Amida Butsu. 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 Namu.
Thank you, Reverend Adams. I think it's appropriate, this next song, Gatha, that we're about to sing. It's one of my favorites, Ondokusan. And it's written by our founder, Shinran. And I think it expresses our gratitude and thanks to our teachers. That would include Shakyamuni Buddha, and that would include each name that we read this morning for our February Shotsuki Hoyo. So with that, this morning's Gatha, Ondokusan. Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namandots, 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 Namandots. For our closing reflection, I'd like to share something that was written by Reverend Bishop, the late Bishop Kenru Tsuji. And for me, it speaks to probably the most egalitarian teaching that Shakyamuni Buddha shared with us. It's titled Buddha Nature. Buddha nature is the innate capacity to look upon all beings with great compassion. Every human being possesses this potentiality. Buddha nature is the very basis of human dignity and the spiritual foundation of enlightened human relationships. The spirituality of humankind is greater than our physical or intellectual being. And it is this spirituality, one's Buddha nature, which when cultivated to the highest state, makes one a Buddha, perfect in wisdom and perfect in compassion. The ultimate message of the Buddha was, awaken to the Buddha nature in yourself. It is this message that we must clearly hear. Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namandots, 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 Namandots. I would like to take this opportunity to thank each of you for joining us in this morning's February Shotsuki Hoyo monthly memorial and our Nirvana Day service. I'd like to thank Reverend Henry Adams for his Dharma message this morning. I would like to thank Reverend Keisuke Lee-Miyaki for leading us in Sutra chanting. I would like to thank Mrs. Yoshi Yao for reading the February Shotsuki Hoyo names. I would like to thank Kevin Yauza for all of his Zoom engineering work that he does for us each and every week. Announcements, February 28th. So the last service of this month is going to be a live streamed Eitai Kyo service. It's going to be BCA hosted. I think you go onto the website, BCA website for this. Kevin can share a little bit more about that. But it's in conjunction with the National Council meeting. So folks from all over the United States will be joining in on the service. It'll be hosted at BCSF. Bishop Harada and former Bishop Umezu will be speaking, just themselves, basically. They're at the temple, but it should be a really, really beautiful service. So I invite all of you to check that out. February 28th, also after that service at 1 o'clock, that service is at 10. At 1 o'clock, we'll have our general meeting and our 2020 annual report for BCSF. So I invite you to join us for that as well. Kevin, is there anything else you'd like to add?
Let's see, the book club, as always, meets every other Tuesday at 2 p.m. Mindful meditation with Leo Joslin. Every Wednesday at 6:30. This afternoon, we have our February Board of Directors meeting at 1 p.m. As always, everyone is welcome to attend and participate. As Elaine said, this weekend and next weekend is the BCA National Council meeting. This Saturday, on the 20th, is the BCA Town Hall meeting with BCA President Dr. Ken Matsuda at 10:30 a.m. Then from 1:30 to 6 p.m., there's going to be 4 collaborative workshops that you can attend. The links for all these workshops will be posted prior to the event, so you can go to the website to see the link and then you can attend. Then the following Saturday, February 27th at 3:30, there will be a Dharmathon featuring recently retired ministers, including our very own Reverend Ron Kobata. And then later on at 1:30 p.m., there's the BCA National Council closing program featuring guest speaker Regina Boone. And for more information about all these events, you can go to the bcancm.org website to see more. Okay, that's it. Thank you.
Thanks, Kevin. So that is BCA NCM, National Council Meeting.org to get all the links. Okay.
I have one.
Sure, Yumi, sorry.
That's okay. I put it in the chat. Hello, good morning. I wanted to remind everybody that this Friday is a Day of Remembrance, Bay Area Day of Remembrance Zoom event. So there's a link there and it's on a Friday evening. So it's kind of unusual from the usual. But anyway, Jeff Matsuoka is the co-chair of the program. And we have, there's always just a number of inspiring talks and cultural presentations. So join us.
Thank you, Yumi. And I think we'll send out an email blast too for everyone, for all of our BCSF members and friends, an email blast from, because that's something usually our temple participates in every year. Very important event. So thank you for that reminder, Yumi. Okay, any other announcements?
Oh, I didn't see.
But, okay. All right, well, that concludes this morning's February Shotsuki Hoyo Monthly Memorial and our Nirvana Day service. I thank all of you for joining us this morning. Please stay safe and healthy. And I welcome you to stay on afterwards and say hello with one another. This concludes this morning's service.
Thank you.
Namo Amida Butsu.
Namo Amida Butsu.
Namo
Amida Butsu.
Namandos.
Namandos. Namandos. Namandos.
Namandos. Thank you.
Thank you.